Hello everyone and welcome. This is the very first story on this channel and we're excited to have you here. If you enjoy this kind of manhwa content, we'd really appreciate your support as we grow this community together. Now let's begin. The world admires those who wield power, but the most dangerous man in history could not use a single skill. He only forged them, and every legend you know began in his hands. This is the story of the skill forger. If you enjoy this journey and want to see what happens next, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new chapter. Now, grab a treat, take a seat, and let the story begin. On his 16th birthday, Ren Kaito stood in a long grey line with every other kid in the district. This was awakening day, the moment your superhuman ability revealed itself. The boy ahead of him manifested a blade of pure lightning. The crowd erupted into cheers. Then it was Ren's turn. He stepped forward, his heart pounded. The system scanned him, silence. Then a single line appeared, skill forge, unclassifiable, F rank. The weeks that followed were a slow funeral. Every academy rejected him. F rank, unclassifiable, meaningless. His grandmother tried to smile and say it did not matter, but the bills kept piling up. Her cough grew worse. By winter she was gone. Ren stood alone at the gravesite, 16 years old with no family and no future. 2 years passed. Ren worked the night shift at Hana's convenience store in the outer ring. He stocked shelves, he wiped counters, he watched the world move on without him. By day he slept in a cramped studio apartment. By night he was invisible. No friends, no connections, no hope, just a faded hoodie and a stack of unpaid rent notices. One freezing night, Ren stepped into the back alley to take out the trash. A faint sound stopped him. A weak mewling curled behind a dumpster was a small grey cat, half its ear torn off, one eye scarred shut, barely breathing. Its ribs showed through its matted fur. Ren crouched down. The cat looked at him. It was dying, and for some reason Ren could not walk away. Ren touched the cat's fur, and then golden light exploded from his palm. The cat's body lifted off the ground, floating in a swirl of amber sparks. A constellation of glowing text circled them both. Ren tried to pull away, but he could not. The light burned, the cat screamed, and then silence. The cat dropped to the ground. It was breathing, its wounds were gone. The cat stood up. It looked at Ren, then it walked straight through the metal dumpster as if it were made of smoke. Ren stared at his palm. The gear and scale mark glowed faintly. He had changed the cat's skill. He had created something new. He sat there in the alley, shaking, the cat rubbing against his leg. He was not worthless. He was the only one who could do this. Ren woke to find the grey cat perched on his chest, except the cat was not a cat anymore. She looked like a teenage girl with silver grey hair, feline ears, and mismatched eyes. She tilted her head. "You saved me." Ren scrambled backward off the mattress. He tested his power on a dying houseplant. Golden light pulsed from his palm. The plant convulsed, thorns erupted, leaves turned glossy and dark. Within seconds the dead plant became a carnivorous vine that snapped at his fingers when he pulled away. The power was real, and it was terrifying. Ren sat on the floor staring at the vine. The cat girl needed a name. Ashen, he called her, for her grey fur. She nodded once. He picked up his phone and typed a message. "I can change your skill." He posted it where desperate people might see. Then he waited. 3 days of silence. Ren checked his phone obsessively between stocking shelves. Ashen stayed in his apartment, learning to walk on 2 legs, knocking things over. He was about to give up when his phone buzzed at 3 in the morning. Unknown number. A girl's voice shaking. "Please, I need your help." They met in an abandoned warehouse. She came alone, a tall girl with silver-white hair and desperate pale blue eyes. Her name was Lena. Her skill was water droplet, the weakest of the weak. She was days from expulsion. Ren stood in the shadows, white mask on. He had never done this before. He stepped forward. Ren touched Lena's hand. Golden light exploded from his palm. Her body lifted off the ground. Her F-rank skill text shattered into pieces and reformed in the air. Lena screamed as icy mist erupted from her skin. The warehouse temperature dropped 40 degrees in seconds. Frost crawled across every surface. When the light faded, Lena stood in the center of a frozen crater. Her hair had turned pure white, her eyes glowed pale blue, the air around her crackled with frost. Hydro Dominion, absolute zero, SS rank. She turned to thank him, but he was already gone, running into the night, heart pounding. The next morning, Ren watched the news in his apartment, Ashen beside him. Every channel showed the same footage, a girl freezing an entire warehouse solid in seconds. The reporters called her the Ice Queen. The Academy reinstated her. The government wanted to recruit her. Ren's phone buzzed, new message. I saw what you did. I want the same. His phone would not stop buzzing. Desperate people, rich people, dangerous people, they all wanted a new skill, a better life. Ren took his first paying client, an old veteran with a broken skill and a dying daughter. The forge worked. The veteran walked out with a B-rank ability. For the first time, Ren held money earned from his power. The veteran cleared a dungeon the next day. News spread through the underground. There really was someone who could change skills. And one night, a small figure was waiting for Ren when he left the warehouse. Choppy purple-black hair, mismatched eyes, a smirk that did not reach her face. Jin Soha. Everyone called her Jinny. She knew everything. Jinny offered a deal. She would handle clients, payments, locations. She would keep his secret. In exchange, 20%. Ren agreed. He did not have a choice. For 2 weeks it worked perfectly. Then a client used his new skill to rob a bank. People got hurt. Ren stared at the news, hands shaking. Jinny watched him. This is what you signed up for. Ren sat alone that night. Ashen found him staring at his palms. I hurt people. Ashen sat beside him. You also saved people. Both can be true. He did not sleep. The next morning he told Jinny his rules. No killing skills, no children. Everyone who I forge owes me a favor, unpaid. Jinny shrugged. Your funeral. A woman came through Jinny's network. Her child was dying from a skill that consumed her life force. Only an SSS rank healing skill could save her. Ren knew the cost would be high, but he watched the mother cry and he could not say no. He performed the forge. Golden light filled the room. The child's E-rank healing skill mutated into Rebirth Genesis, SSS rank. The girl opened her eyes. Her frail pink hair regained its color. She was healed. Ren looked at his reflection in the window. A streak of gray ran through his black hair. The cost was visible now. He was 19. He looked 25. The girl he saved was named Sarah Yu. Her father was Commander Yu Hansel, the one-armed war hero who ran the Superhuman Bureau. Sarah came to thank the forger in person. Ren could not bring himself to tell her the truth. He just nodded. When she hugged him, he froze. He was not used to gratitude. It felt heavier than he expected. Lena started visiting the convenience store. She did not know Ren was the forger to her. He was just the quiet boy working the night shift. She came in for coffee. She stayed to talk. She told him about hunting the forger, how she owed him everything. Ren smiled and nodded and felt like he was drowning in his own lie. That night, Ren stood in front of the mirror. More grey hairs. A new wrinkle at the corner of his eye. Ashen appeared behind him. You are using too much power too fast. He ignored her. There were still people who needed help. He could stop any time. He just did not want to. The power was the only thing that made him matter. A message arrived on Jinny's encrypted line. It was not from a client. It was from a man who called himself the Collector. He knew about Ren. He knew about Jinny, and he had something that belonged to her, an old ID card from her past life. The message was simple. Bring me the forger, or I burn everything you escaped from. Jinny showed Ren the message. Her hands were steady, but her eyes were not. The Collector was Kael Dracos, the king of the black market. He dealt in stolen skills, forged documents, debts. He owned people without them knowing. Jinny had run from him once. She could not run again. Ren looked at her. Then we do not run. We meet him. They met Kael in a penthouse overlooking the city. He was tall, lean, dressed in an immaculate black suit. A thin scar across his lips gave him a permanent slight smile. He offered champagne, he offered wealth, he offered protection. All Ren had to do was work for him permanently. Ren refused. Kael's smile did not waver. He touched Ren's shoulder. debt bind. Kale's skill activated. Anyone who owed him anything became bound to obey, but Ren owed him nothing. The skill slid off him like water. Kale's eyes widened. For the first time his smile cracked. The forger could not be bound. Ren walked out of the penthouse alive, but marked. Kale now knew his face, his voice, his height, everything. News of the failed binding reached the 8 pillars, the 8 most powerful superhumans on Earth. They had been watching the forgers rise with interest. Now they saw a threat. Pillar 3, the Reaper, declared first, "Find the forger, kill him, before he creates someone who can challenge us." The hunt was now official. Ren had made himself the most wanted man alive. A black van pulled up outside Hannah's convenience store. Men in black suits stepped out. Ren watched from the window, Ashen beside him. "They found me." Ashen's ears flattened. "Not yet. Go." Ren grabbed his mask and bolted through the back door into the alley. The men entered the store. Grandma Hannah looked up from the counter. Her eyes were not the eyes of an old woman. The men never came out. Ren heard nothing. No fight, no screams, just silence. He waited in the alley, frozen. Then the back door opened. Grandma Hannah stepped out, wiping her hands on her apron. She looked at Ren standing there in his mask. She smiled. "I was wondering when you would trust me. You look just like your mother when you run." Ren's world stopped. The back door clicked shut. Ren stood frozen in the alley, white mask in his hand. Grandma Hannah leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Her posture was different, straight, sharp. Her eyes held nothing of the warm old woman who had handed him free rice cakes for 3 years. "I trained your mother," she said. "I was there when she discovered her power, when she gave birth to you, and I was there when she died." Ren could not speak. Hannah continued. Her name was Haruka Kato. She was the original forger. The 8 pillars wanted her power. She refused them. They killed her. Hannah reached into her apron and pulled out a small worn box. "Your mother asked me to give you this on the day you turned 18. You're late." Ren took the box with trembling hands. Inside was an old photograph, a woman with long black hair and a single white streak holding a baby, a worn leather journal, a small brass key. Ren opened the journal that night in his apartment, Ashen reading over his shoulder. His mother's voice came alive through the pages, descriptions of her power, her fear of the pillars, her love for a man she could not protect. The last entry was unfinished. "They found us. I have to run. If you're reading this, my child, forge your own path. Do not become them." Ren closed the journal. His hands were steady for the first time in weeks. He looked at Ashen. "I'm done hiding. The pillars want a forger. They're going to get one." Ashen's mismatched eyes searched his face. "You're not afraid?" Ren shook his head. "I'm angry. Anger is better." He put the white mask on. Dawn was breaking. A new day. A new war. The assassin came 3 nights later. Ren was walking home from the convenience store when the shadows on the wall moved wrong. A blade materialized from darkness, aimed at his throat. He dodged by instinct, barely. The wraith melted out of the alley wall, a figure made of living shadow. Ren had no combat skill. He had nothing but his forge. In that split second, he did something insane. He forged his own reflexes. Golden light surged through Ren's body. Time seemed to slow. He saw the wraith's next strike before it came. Every muscle twitch, every shadow ripple. He sidestepped cleanly and ran. The wraith's scream of frustration followed him into the night. Ren collapsed in the warehouse, gasping. A new grey streak had appeared in his hair. Ginny found him there. "We need to call in every favor, every single one." Lena received the message in her academy dorm, a coded number she had hoped never to see again. "The forger needs you." She stared at her phone for a long time. The boy who saved her, the boy who changed her life, the boy she had been hunting for weeks without knowing it was him. She grabbed her coat. The air around her froze solid as she walked out. She was done being ignorant. They gathered in the warehouse at midnight. Lena stood by the door, arms crossed, her cold expression, hiding a storm. Mr. Kang sat on a crate, his B-rank ability humming beneath his skin. 3 others from Ren's client list arrived, people who owed favors. Ginny stood at the center, tablet in hand, coordinating. Ren stepped into the light, white mask on. He looked at his army. It was small, but it was his. Before they could plan their first move, the warehouse door opened again. A tall man in a decorated military uniform stepped in, one sleeve pinned empty at the shoulder. Commander Yu Han-sol. He looked at the gathering, then directly at Ren. "I know who you are. I know what you can do, and I know what the 8 pillars did to your mother. I want to help you destroy them." Ren's first instinct was distrust. The government had never helped anyone like him, but Hansel placed a file on the crate between them. Inside was a photo of a young woman in a bureau uniform, Haruka Kaito. "Your mother was a bureau agent. She worked with us against the pillars for 3 years. She was the best operative we ever had." Ren picked up the photo. His mother stared back at him, smiling. Ren agreed to the alliance on one condition: he would not hide, no safe houses, no witness protection. He would operate in the open. Hansel frowned but nodded. The Bureau would provide intel, resources, and a secure line. In exchange, Ren would forge Bureau agents when needed. They shook hands. For the first time, Ren had the weight of a government behind him. It felt almost as heavy as the target on his back. Ren woke in a white room, a Bureau medical facility. His body felt ancient. He tried to sit up and failed. Sarah was beside him, her face pale with worry. She held up a mirror. Ren barely recognized himself. His hair was more white than black now. Deep lines etched his face. A burn scar curled across his right cheek from the failed severance. He was 19. He looked 50. He stared at the mirror in silence. Commander Hansol visited that evening. He brought intel on the Reaper. His nullification field was anchored to a small device implanted in his spine. It had one weakness: if the anchor was disrupted, the field flickered for half a second before resetting. Ren studied the data, his tired eyes scanning the readouts. Half a second. That's all I need. He started planning. His hands moved slowly, but his mind was sharp. The fire hadn't gone out. As the meeting ended, a small figure appeared at the warehouse entrance. Sarah Yu stood there, her pink hair vibrant now, her lavender eyes bright with health. She walked straight past her father and hugged Ren. He stiffened. "Thank you," she whispered, "for everything. I don't care who you are or what they call you. You saved my life. That's the only thing that matters." She pulled back and smiled. Ren felt something crack inside him. That night, Ren sat alone with his mother's journal. Ashen slept beside him, her head on his knee. He turned the pages slowly, looking for anything he had missed. Near the back, hidden between the binding, he found a folded slip of paper with a string of numbers, a code. He spent 3 hours deciphering it. The message read, "The power to sever lies in music. Go to the shop where the melodies never end." The music box shop was tucked in an old district Ren had never visited. A bell chimed as he entered. The owner was a blind old man who seemed to expect him. "You have her eyes," the old man said. He placed a small wooden music box on the counter. "Your mother left this here 17 years ago. She said her child would come for it one day." Ren opened the box. A delicate melody played, and inside a golden skill crystal glowed. Ren activated the crystal in the warehouse that night. Knowledge flooded his mind, the original forger technique. Skill severance. It was more than changing or creating skills. It was unmaking them at their root, the power to permanently strip anyone of their ability. Ren understood now why the pillars had feared his mother. She could end them one by one. He also understood the cost. The technique fed on the user's life force. Ren sat in silence for a long time. His mother had known the cost too. She had used severance once, stripping Pillar 9 of their power before they killed her. It had cost her everything. Ren looked at his reflection in a cracked window. Grey streaks in his hair, lines on his face. He was already paying the price. He clenched his fist. She didn't finish the job. "I will." Ren called everyone to the warehouse. Lena, Ginny, Ashen, Mr. Kang, Hansel, Sarah. He stood before them and told them everything. His mother, the severance technique, the cost. He laid it out without hiding. "I'm going to war against the 8 pillars. I'm going to kill them one by one or die trying. I won't ask you to fight, but if you want to, I'll forge you into weapons worthy of gods." The room was silent. Lena stepped forward first. "I owe you everything, my power, my life. I'm with you to the end." Mr. Kang nodded. "My daughter is alive because of you. I'll fight." Ginny sighed and rubbed her face. "I've been running from Kale my whole life. I'm tired of running. Count me in." Ashen simply moved closer to Ren and sat at his feet. She didn't need to speak. Hansel placed his hand on Ren's shoulder. "The Bureau will back you." Ren spent the next 3 days forging. He enhanced Lena's ice power to its theoretical limit. Her Hydro Dominion reached absolute zero core temperature, capable of freezing fire. He gave Mr. Kang a rapid regeneration factor to compensate for his age. He forged Ginny a spatial awareness skill. She could sense anyone within 100 meters. Each forge took more from him. By the 3rd day his hair was half grey. He looked 30. Ashen cornered him in the warehouse bathroom. He was splashing water on his face, avoiding his own reflection. She grabbed his wrist. "You're dying. Every forge takes years off your life." Ren pulled away. "I know." "Then stop. I can't. There are 7 pillars left. Each one will kill everyone I love if I don't stop them first." Ashen's eyes glistened. "Then I'm fighting beside you every step, till the end." Ren couldn't meet her eyes. The Reaper found them before they were ready. A fleet of black vans surrounded the warehouse at dawn. 50 enforcers in black suits poured out. At their center walked the Reaper himself, gaunt, skeletal, his scythe trailing shadows. He raised his hand. "Kill everyone inside. Leave the forger alive. I want to watch him break." The assault began. The warehouse doors exploded inward. Lena was the first to react. She threw her hands forward and the air screamed. A wave of absolute zero surged through the warehouse entrance. 10 enforcers turned to ice statues in an instant. Frost crawled across the walls, but the Reaper walked through untouched. His nullification field extended 10 meters in every direction. Within that radius, no skill worked. Lena's ice shattered. Her eyes widened. The Reaper smiled. Ren knew he had to use severance. He wasn't ready. He had never practiced it, but there was no choice. He focused his golden energy, reached for the technique his mother had left him. The power erupted from his palm, but it was wild, uncontrolled. Instead of striking the Reaper, it backlashed. Ren screamed as golden fire consumed his arm. He collapsed, smoke rising from his skin. The Reaper laughed. Ashen moved. She launched herself at the Reaper in a blur of grey fur and claws, her hybrid form faster, stronger. She raked her claws across his face, blood sprayed, but the Reaper grabbed her by the throat and slammed her into the ground. Ren tried to rise, vision swimming. Lena created a desperate blizzard, not to attack but to blind everyone retreat. She dragged Ren out as the ice wall collapsed behind them. The second confrontation was calculated. Ren baited the Reaper into an abandoned construction site, floors of metal grating, where the anchor signal might scatter. The Reaper followed, confident. Ren led him higher and higher. When they reached the top floor, Ren turned. The Reaper swung his scythe. Ren didn't dodge. He let the blade graze his side, buying the angle, and then he activated severance. The anchor flickered. The field dropped. Golden light pierced the Reaper's chest. The Reaper's scythe clattered to the ground. His nullification field died completely. His eyes, those hollow black pits, went wide with something they had never held before. Fear. Ren pushed through the agony, through the burning in his veins. The severance completed. The Reaper fell to his knees, his power gone, nothing but a gaunt old man in a tattered coat. Ren stood over him, breathing hard, blood dripping from his nose, 1 down, 7 to go. News travelled faster than light. The forger killed a pillar. The forger killed the Reaper. Networks that had dismissed Ren as an underground curiosity now treated him with terror and respect. The remaining 7 pillars convened in their dark chamber. For the first time in history, one of their seats stood empty. Pillar 1, the Sovereign, spoke. "Find the forger, not to kill, to recruit. If he cannot be recruited, eliminate everyone he loves, then kill him." Ren woke in the Bureau medical wing days later. Yu Hansol sat beside him, looking older than Ren remembered. "You did it." Ren's voice came out as a rasp. At what cost? Hansel paused. The pillars have called a convergence. All 7 will unite against you. But there's good news. Other factions are reaching out. People who were afraid of the pillars now see a crack in their armor. You gave the world hope. Ren stared at the ceiling. Hope? He wasn't sure he had any left. That evening, Ren stood at the window of the medical facility, looking out at the city lights. Ashen sat on the windowsill beside him, bandages wrapped around her torso where the Reaper had struck her. Lena leaned against the wall, ice crystals forming unconsciously in her breath. Ginny sat on the floor, scrolling through messages from new allies. Mr. Kang stood guard at the door. Sarah had brought flowers. Ren looked at them. His family, his army, his reason to keep fighting. Ren turned from the window. His reflection in the glass showed a stranger, white-streaked hair, scarred face, eyes that had seen too much, but the stranger was him. He smiled, not a happy smile, the smile of someone who had nothing left to lose and everything to fight for. "The forger is not one person," he said quietly. "The forger is an idea, and ideas don't die when you kill them." He picked up his white mask. The war against the 8 pillars had only just begun.